A group of friends embark on a week-long vacation to one of New York's hottest gay resorts. Let's talk about Hulu's Fire Island. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for the new film on Hulu streaming right now called Fire Island. This is a romantic comedy. It is based on Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, and they're not being too shy about that whole connection here. So we'll get into this movie in a moment, but first, of course, I want to welcome you into Dan Reviews It. Thank you for finding this video and my channel. I would love for you to think about subscribing. If you like what you're watching there, you could do that down below. We review a ton of movies and TV shows all the time here. I drop, usually 5 or more videos a week on the hot new movies and TV shows, and some older stuff too. We get into some interesting conversations here on the channel. But anyway, that aside, let's talk about Fire Island. So, like I mentioned, this is, loosely based. I wouldn't even say loosely based. These characters are sort of, based specifically on a lot of the characters in Pride and Prejudice, and the movie is not shy about that connection. It opens up with a Jane Austen quote. I don't know if it's directly from the book or what, but in a voiceover from the lead actor here, Joel Kim Booster, who plays Noah, who's based essentially on Elizabeth Bennet from the Pride and Prejudice book. Bowen Yang plays his buddy Howie, who's based on Jane Bennet, and then we have, people based on the Darcys and the other Bennets and all of that. So everybody sort of has an association. This person is standing in for this character in Pride and Prejudice. But look, we've seen this for a long time in romance movies, specifically romantic comedies, Clueless and 10 Things I Hate About You. They're all based on, not all of them, but, those certainly that I mentioned are based on, other works by Shakespeare and whatever. So, this is not necessarily new that we're mining this territory. But, look, it is Pride Month. I'm all decked out in my Mickey Pride here. So it makes sense to drop a gay-themed rom-com onto Hulu, which is owned by Disney, full disclosure there, on, the opening weekend here of Pride Month. I actually did not know if Fire Island was a real place. I guess I had sort of heard of it, but I didn't know if it was like, like a fantasy place, or they just did it in movies and TV shows. No, it is a real place off of Long Island, I guess. So, they go here and romance ensues. They're sort of looking for love, and if you know Pride and Prejudice, you may know how the story sort of progresses from there. I wouldn't say there's a ton of twists here from that story, that deviation, but I enjoyed watching this. Bowen Yang, of course, is a big up-and-comer on Saturday Night Live. He's been very open about his homosexuality, and he plays into that on SNL, and then, obviously in this movie as well, and some of the other things he's done. And then Margaret Cho is here as well as sort of the woman who owns the cabin that they all go to every year, and she's sort of the patron saint gay of this particular group, this collective. And love a good Margaret Cho. I don't know when exactly she came out, but it's in the last 20 years probably, right? I know when she was doing her 90s sitcom, we did not know she was a lesbian, that's for sure. But yeah, I believe pretty much everybody in this cast is gay. There's a guy that I just kind of was racking on my TV reviews for being sort of a Max Greenfield type, from New Girl, because this guy is in this show, I Love That For You on Showtime, and he's in this too, and as soon as I saw him, I was like, oh, that's that guy that sort of is like Max Greenfield. But this movie actually gives him a whole nother identity, because that TV show is so based around the workplace. And yeah, he's catty, and, yeah, okay, we get the sense that he's gay, but here, he's really lighting up the screen. Everybody in this group is gay. So with that, I do have a couple of complaints about this movie. One is that even within this group here, there is sort of a token gay. He is way over the top flamboyant. Even within this group, they have the gay friend. I get it. I mean, I do think that in most groups of gay guys, there is one or maybe two that are like, the really over the top one. So I guess it makes sense, the Will and Grace sort of thing. Jack obviously is over the top there. But it seems like in a movie that is maybe trying to advance progression a little bit for the community, it might have been a good idea to give him some other personality trait than he's the super gay one. So that's definitely a criticism there. Also, I do think it's a little bit more risque than it needs to be. Sure, it's rated R, and I get that. But, those rom-coms I sort of mentioned previously, Clueless and 10 Things I Hate About You, are in that PG-13 camp. And I understand it's Hulu, get away with more stuff, and it doesn't much matter. But I don't know. Is it feeding into the stereotype that, all gay guys talk about is sex and whatever? I don't know. So I have a couple of mixed feelings about that. As a gay man myself, did I see myself in any of these characters? Yeah, I guess a little bit. But in others, definitely not. So, it certainly is not an overarching, yes, this represents everybody. And that's how it should be. We should just not be stereotypes, right? But this movie had an interesting progression to the small screen, because first it was going to be a show on Quibi. Now, Joel Kim Booster does not do a lot of movies and TV, but I know him as a comedian. I don't know if he has a stand-up special or how I know him, or if he's just been on talk shows or whatever. But so he wrote the script for this, and originally it was going to be a Quibi short thing called Trip. And he was going to star in that as well. And then, Quibi folded after like 9 months. So a lot of things sort of just didn't get produced anymore. But the suits at Hulu saw fit to actually produce this. And, okay, we see some potential here. Let's do it as a feature film. And that's sort of when some of the other people came on board. I think Bowen Yang was going to be part of it with the Quibi thing. But yeah, it's kind of nice that, that they were able to resurrect this thing that would have been destroyed, I guess, otherwise. Look, I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. I think this is kind of the year for a return to rom-coms. All of the ones I've seen have been at least average, if not better. There haven't been any that have been terrible, and it's not hard to do a really bad rom-com. But none of the ones I've seen this year, fit that bill. They're all pretty decent. This one is among them. I got some laughs here. I think it is kind of nice to see, a completely gay love story. And at the same time, people that I would not say are conventionally hot. Like Bowen Yang, okay, he's cute, but, he's a bit overweight. And, he's not the typical person that you would see in a rom-com. And I like that about him, Joel Kim Booster, too, he is a bit jacked, but I would say, he's not classically handsome. Now, yes, the guys they're going for in this movie are very chiseled, and okay, we get it. You gotta have some eye candy, but yeah, I mean, I sort of like that it bucks that convention as well a little bit. So, yeah, maybe not wholly original with the Pride and Prejudice connection, but I enjoyed Fire Island. I leave it with a B. All right, thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time for another review on Dan Reviews It. Bye.